Join us as we delve into The Enchanted Edge of Betrayal, another captivating tale by StoryWave AI. Hit the like button, share the magic, and subscribe for endless storytelling adventures. Chapter 1: Whispering Woods. In the heart of midwinter, beneath the silver gaze of a crescent moon, the whispering woods seemed to murmur secrets into the starlit sky. I, Eldrin Thornwood, tread softly on the frost-kissed earth, the air crisp with the scent of pine and a hint of something darker, something that didn't belong. My emerald eyes, ever watchful, scanned the gnarled branches and thick underbrush for signs of disturbance. It was here, amidst these ancient trees, that I had spent countless days honing my craft. Yet tonight, the familiar landscape filled me with unease. A missive from the Archmage had summoned me, its contents both cryptic and alarming, speaking of an unrest stirring within the land. As the arcane prodigy, I was no stranger to the expectations weighing upon my shoulders, yet a tremor of doubt threaded through my thoughts. Was I truly ready to face what lurked in the shadows? My journey was solitary, save for the occasional hoot of a night owl or the rustle of small creatures scurrying through the underbrush. My friend, whose name I had come to cherish, had been absent of late, their attention swayed by the whispers of a secret society. The allure of power was a potent bait, and I feared the hook had been set deep. I reached a clearing where the moonlight danced upon the ground, and there, at the heart of the glade, I beheld a sight that quickened my pulse. Runes, dark as a raven's wing, were etched into the earth, pulsing with an energy that spoke of sorcery most foul. I knelt, my fingers hovering above the symbols, feeling the thrum of malevolence that emanated from them. It was the work of Kelksax, the Dark Weaver, of that I was certain. His reputation as a master of forbidden magic was known to me, whispered in soft voices amongst my peers. As I contemplated my next move, a shiver cascaded down my spine. A presence, ethereal and chilling, coalesced before me. It was a wraith-like figure, its form shifting like smoke on the wind, its eyes holding the depth of midnight. Eldrin Thornwood, it intoned, its voice a symphony of whispers, heed my warning. A shadow grows long across these lands, a darkness that seeks to choke the light of all that is pure and good. You stand at the precipice, the edge of a blade that could sway the balance. I rose, my hand instinctively reaching for the sigil-scarred palm, the mark of my dedication to the arcane arts. I hear your words, Spirit, but tell me, how does one confront a shadow that has no form, no substance? The entity's gaze held mine, a flicker of something ancient and knowing within its depths. Look beyond the veil, young wizard. Trust in the power that resides within you, for it is greater than you know. Yet be wary, for trust misplaced can lead to betrayal most bitter. Its message delivered, the specter dissolved into the night, leaving me alone once more. I pondered its words, the weight of the task before me settling upon my shoulders like a mantle of stone. Doubts gnawed at me, a reminder of my humanity, of my fallibility. I took a deep breath, the air cold in my lungs, and armored myself. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but I would not falter. The Archmage had called, and I would answer, for the fate of realms may well rest upon my resolve. I set forth from the clearing, my mind a whirlwind of thought and strategy. The whispering woods seemed to watch me go, its secrets locked within the shadows. Ahead, adventure beckoned, and I, Eldrin Thornwood, would rise to meet it. Chapter 2: The Archmage's Decree. Dawn crept over the horizon like a thief, stealing away the night's cover and bathing the world in a gentle glow. I stood before the towering spires of the Archmage's abode, the air heavy with a sense of foreboding that seemed to seep from the very stones. Today, I was to meet with the most powerful wizard in the lands, and the weight of this appointment sat like lead in my stomach. The grand doors swung open with a creak that echoed through the silence, and I stepped into the heart of arcane power. The corridors were lined with portraits of past sages, their eyes following me with silent judgment as I passed. At the end of the hall, the Archmage awaited, a figure both revered and feared, his countenance stern and his eyes piercing. "Eldrin," he began, his voice resonating with a gravity that made the air itself seem to still, "the time has come for you to stand as the realm's shield. Kelksax, the Dark Weaver, has returned, and his shadow threatens to engulf all we hold dear." I swallowed, my mind racing with images of the malevolent runes and the whispering specter from the woods. The reality of the Archmage's words struck me like a physical blow. But I am just one wizard, I found myself saying, the words tasting of reluctance. How can I possibly stand against a sorcerer so steeped in darkness? The Archmage's gaze did not waver. You possess more strength than you know, Eldrin. It is not by chance that you were marked at birth under the midwinter's moon, but you must choose to embrace your destiny, or all may be lost. I turned away, my heart thundering with a mix of fear and frustration. I need time, I muttered, the words barely above a whisper. Time is a luxury we do not have, he replied, his tone softening. I have seen the threads of fate, Eldrin, and they are fraying. You must act, lest the tapestry of our world unravels completely. As if on cue, the room trembled, a low rumble that grew into a furor of clattering windows and shaking floorboards. A vision sparked before my eyes, unbidden, a village consumed by shadows, its people screaming, the air thick with the stench of dark magic. Kelgzak stood at its heart, his eyes like coals, his laughter a sound that clawed at the soul. The vision faded, leaving an eerie silence in its wake. I knew then that I had witnessed the sorcerer's handiwork, a precursor of the horror he could unleash. Doubts clawed at me still, but the sight of that suffering, it kindled something within me, a flicker of resolve. Before I could speak, a parchment slid from the shadows, guided by an unseen force, and came to rest before me. It bore the seal of the secret society, its edges singed with black flame. We offer knowledge that the Archmage dares not impart. The message read, the power to vanquish your foe lies within reach. I stared at the parchment, my mind a whirlwind. Could I dare to dabble in the forbidden to protect the realm? Or was it the lure of the very darkness I sought to defeat? The choice lay before me, a path shrouded in mystery and fraught with peril. The Archmage watched me, his expression unreadable. The decision is yours, Eldrin. But remember, power comes with a price, and not all debts can be repaid. With a heavy heart, I left the Archmage's sanctum, the weight of my choices heavy upon my soul. The Whispering Woods had been just the beginning. Now the true test lay ahead, and whether I would rise or fall, only time would tell. Chapter 3. Embrace of Fate. Sunlight barely pierced the murky canopy as I ventured deeper into the fractured lands. Once a place of beauty, the twisted trees and shattered ground now bore the scars of dark magic. My resolution had brought me here, to the very doorstep of peril, where the stronghold of Kelgzax, the Dark Weaver, lay hidden. The air was thick with a sense of watching, of eyes unseen that tracked my every step. I pressed on, the grip on my staff tightening, the sigil on my palm a constant reminder of the power at my command and the daunting task ahead. The ground beneath my boots crumbled at times, giving way to chasms that whispered of endless depths. I leaped over them, my heart pounding, refusing to look down into the darkness that seemed to beckon. Careful, Eldrin. A voice slithered from the shadows, its tone mocking. I spun around, my emerald eyes searching the gloom. Show yourself, I demanded, my voice steady despite the flicker of unease that danced up my spine. From the twisted underbrush, my once close friend emerged, their features obscured by a hooded cloak. You shouldn't be here, they chided, a chilling smile on their lips. I frowned, the sting of their betrayal fresh. I could say the same for you. The society you've entwined yourself with, they're using you. Their laugh was cold, devoid of the warmth I once knew. They've shown me truths that the Archmage would keep hidden, power that could be ours, Eldrin. Join me. I shook my head, my resolution hardening. I walk a different path. Stand aside. They stepped closer, their presence a cold draft in the still air. You'll regret this choice, they warned before fading back into the woods. I let out a slow breath, turning away from the spot where my friend had stood. The trials of the fractured lands were more than just physical, I realized. They were a test of will, of loyalty. As the day waned, I came upon an ancient stone guardian, its visage worn by time but its eyes alight with an inner fire. Wizard, it rumbled, its voice the grinding of boulders. You seek knowledge of the Dark Weaver's ascension? I nodded, my gaze locked with the guardian's. I do. His power threatens all. I must know how to end his reign. The guardian's eyes seemed to bore into my soul. Long ago, Kelgzax was a mere mortal, ambitious and cunning. He sought forbidden arts, delving into depths no man should explore. He struck a pact with the shadows, and they granted him power beyond measure, but at a cost. I leaned in, my thirst for knowledge mingling with the dread of what I might learn. What cost? His humanity, the guardian answered, its tone laced with sorrow, and the balance of the realms. He is bound to the shadows, and they to him. To defeat Kel'Zax, you must break this bond, though the shadows will not yield easily. My mind raced with this new insight, the pieces of a plan slowly forming. Thank you, Guardian. Your wisdom has lit the path. The Guardian nodded, its eyes dimming. Go forth, Eldrin. Embrace your fate, but beware. The shadows are ever watchful, and betrayal lurks where least expected. With a final glance at the stoic figure, I set out once more, the stronghold of the Dark Weaver drawing ever closer. The trials had honed my courage, sharpened my arcane prowess. Now, armed with the knowledge of my foe, I was ready to confront the darkness, and whatever else the fractured lands dared to throw my way. Chapter 4: Alliance of the Enchanted. A shiver danced down my spine as I stepped into the heart of the enchanted forest, a realm where every leaf and stone seemed to pulsate with ancient magic. The whispers of the trees were like a language I had almost forgotten, a reminder of the wild power that lay beyond the grasp of even the most learned wizards. I was Eldrin, the one who walked the thin line between worlds, and I had come seeking allies in a time of rising darkness. The forest's inhabitants watched from the shadows, their eyes glinting with curiosity and caution. I could sense their presence, beings of lore and legend, their very existence a confirmation to the world's hidden wonders. Come out, I called, my voice steady, echoing through the towering trunks. I am not an enemy. I seek your help to protect these lands from a threat that endangers us all. A fluttering of leaves heralded their approach. First, a fawn stepped into the clearing, its eyes a clear blue that reflected the sky. Next, a will-o'-the-wisp bobbed gently in the air, its light casting a soft glow on the moss-covered ground. Then came others, creatures of feather and fur, of scale and wing, a parade of the forest's guardians. We know why you have come, Eldrin, the fawn spoke, its voice a melodic tune that harmonized with the rustling canopy. The shadow of Kel'Zax looms over us, a darkness that seeks to suffocate the light of our home. I nodded, my eyes meeting each of theirs in turn. Together, we can stand against him. Your knowledge of these woods, your mastery of elements, it's all vital to our cause. The will-o'-the-wisp danced closer, its light flickering in agreement. We will aid you, wizard, for the fate of the enchanted forest is intertwined with that of the realms beyond. But know this, the society that shadows you, they are closer than you think. The warning hung heavy in the air, a silent alarm that set my nerves on edge. Before I could thank them for their trust, the forest erupted into chaos. Dark figures emerged from the underbrush, their cloaks blending with the twilight, blades gleaming with lethal intent. An arrow whistled past my ear, a deadly message from our friend, their silhouette barely visible amongst the assailants. Eldrin, watch out! They cried, their voice strained with conflict. Betrayal stung, but there was no time for pain, only action. With the aid of my new allies, we sprang into battle. The fawn's hooves kicked up a storm of leaves, obscuring our movements, while the will-o'-the-wisp's light blinded our foes, disorienting them. Spells flowed from my fingertips, arcs of energy that sent adversaries reeling. My heart raced, not with fear, but with the fierce joy of standing alongside creatures of myth and magic, united against a common enemy. The skirmish was swift, the forest's denizens formidable in their defense. As the last of the attackers fled, the clearing fell silent, save for the heavy breaths of those who had stood their ground. My former friend lingered at the forest's edge, their figure torn between the shadow and the light. Eldrin, they began, but their voice faltered. I searched their face for a sign of the camaraderie we once shared. It's not too late to choose the right side, I said, the offer hanging between us like a fragile truce. They hesitated, the internal struggle clear in their eyes. Then, with a nod that felt like the closing of a chapter, they vanished into the forest's embrace. The battle had been won, but the war was far from over. With the enchanted forest's guardians at my side, my perseverance was stronger than ever. The path ahead was fraught with peril, but I, Eldrin, would face it head-on, for I was the realm's shield, its illuminator in the encroaching darkness. Chapter 5: Echoes of the Void. The temple's entrance loomed like a mouth agape, ready to swallow any who dared to enter its depths. I took a tentative step forward, my senses alert for the tricks and traps I knew Kelkzax would have laid for the unwary. A sudden gust of wind carried a voice, faint and fractured. "Eldrin, wait!" I turned to see my friend, their face a tapestry of inner turmoil, the shadows of their recent choices hanging heavy in their eyes. I've come to help," they stammered, their hands trembling as they approached. "The society, I left them. I want to make things right." I studied their earnest expression, the set of their jaw, and nodded. "Your help is welcome. The path ahead is fraught with peril, and I shall need all the assistance I can muster." Together, we faced the temple's yawning entrance. The first challenge presented itself as a riddle, etched into the stone by a hand that had not seen the light of day for ages. "What is the sound of Shadow's heart?" The echo of the void. It read, the words a puzzle wrapped in enigma. We pondered in silence, our minds weaving through the labyrinth of possibilities. "It's silence," my friend murmured, their voice a mix of hope and hesitation. "The heart of Shadow beats in silence, just as the void echoes with it." I repeated their words, and the ancient stones rumbled in response, a hidden door creaking open to reveal a corridor shrouded in darkness. With each enigma unraveled and illusion dispelled, the temple revealed its twisted corridors and secret chambers, each more daunting than the last. We navigated through a maze of mirrors, our reflections fractured and distorted, mocking us with visions of our darkest fears. "We must focus on what is real, not the lies that these reflections spin," I said, my voice steady as I led us through the deceptive maze. Finally, we stood before the inner sanctum, the air thick with the stench of dark magic. Here, the final confrontation awaited. "Eldrin, are you ready?" my friend asked, their voice now firm with newfound conviction. I placed a hand on their shoulder, grateful for the companionship. Together, we face whatever end awaits us. For the sake of the realms, for the light that still dares to pierce the darkness. We shared a nod, an unspoken pact between us, and stepped forward into the void, ready to face the Dark Weaver in a battle that would decide the fate of all. The echoes of our determination rang through the temple, a symphony of courage against the discordant whispers of betrayal. Chapter 6, Realm's Reckoning. As the last echoes of our footsteps faded, I stood at the threshold of destiny, the chamber of Kelkzax sprawling before me like a tapestry woven with shadows. The air crackled with arcane energy, the very fabric of the plane thrumming with the power of 1,000 spells. This was it, the moment where every choice, every sacrifice would lead to triumph or despair. Kelkzax, draped in darkness, his eyes two crimson orbs of malice, faced me across the expanse. "Eldrin," he hissed, his voice a serpent's charm, "you come to challenge me, a mere flicker against the night?" "How? Amusing." I tightened my grip on my staff, the wood warm against my palm. "The light shines brightest against the dark, Kelkzax. Your reign of terror ends now." His laughter, a chilling cascade, filled the chamber. "Let us see if your courage holds when the abyss stares back into you." The duel erupted with a fury that bent the air itself. Bolts of energy clashed, illuminating the chamber with their brilliance. I wove through his assaults, countering with my own, the lessons of the forest guardians, the wisdom of the ancient temple guardian fueling my resolve. "Eldrin," the voice of my friend, their figure a blur at the edge of the battle, cut through the blare. "I'm with you." Their plea was a balm to my spirit, a reminder that I was not alone in this fight. Together, we danced a dangerous ballet, our spells intertwining, pushing Kelkzax back, step by step. "You cannot win this, wizard," Kelkzax snarled, his form flickering as he summoned the shadows to his aid. "I am the void, the end of all things." I focused, the sigil on my hand burning with a fierce light. "Then I am the dawn, the beginning that follows the night," I declared, my voice resounding with a power I scarcely recognized as my own. Our spirits clashed, transcending the material, a battle of wills in a realm unseen. I could feel the darkness within me, a whispering temptation, a promise of power untold. But I clung to the light, to the memories of those who had stood by me, who had believed in me when I doubted myself. The chamber shook as Kelkzax's form wavered, the shadows that sustained him recoiling from the purity of my assault. "No, impossible," he roared, his control slipping. It was then that my friend, their face a mask of resolve, stepped forward. "Eldrin, now!" While he's weakened, their hands traced a sigil in the air, a sacrifice of their own essence to aid me. For the realm, for hope, they cried out before their form dissipated into motes of light, their spirit joining with mine. With a final, thunderous incantation, I sealed Kel'Xax away, the shadows retreating with a scream that echoed through the chamber and into oblivion. The balance of the realm restored, a sense of peace settled over me, the light of victory piercing the remnants of darkness. I stood alone, yet not lonely, for my friend's sacrifice had ignited a flame of hope that no shadow could extinguish. Their courage, their choice, would be remembered, a beacon for all who would follow. The realm was safe once more, and I, Eldrin, had fulfilled my destiny. Chapter 7, Dawn of the Elder Sage. The first glimmers of dawn stretched lazily across the horizon, painting the sky with streaks of pink and orange as the kingdom of Eldoria slowly stirred to life. The air was crisp, filled with the mingled scents of fresh blooms and the earthy aroma of the surrounding whispering woods. I, Eldrin, stood upon the balcony of my tower, the very one where I had spent countless nights lost in study and spellwork. Now it was a place of reflection, of looking out upon a realm that had teetered on the brink of darkness before being pulled back into the light. The townsfolk had already begun to gather in the square below, a colorful sea of faces turned upward in anticipation. Today was not just another sunrise. It was the dawn of a new era, one that I had helped secure, but at a cost that weighed heavily on my heart. Eldrin, called a familiar voice from behind me. I turned to see the Archmage, his robes as majestic as the rising sun, his face etched with lines of wisdom and care. The people are eager to celebrate their hero, but you must also accept the mantle that victory has draped upon your shoulders. I glanced back at the horizon, the beauty of the morning, a dramatic divergence to the turmoil within. I still question whether I am ready for such a title, such duty, I admitted, my words a whisper against the chorus of bird songs. The Archmage stepped beside me, his gaze following mine. The path to readiness is walked one step at a time. You have shown courage and heart, Eldrin. The realm could ask for no finer sage. His words were meant to be a balm, but they felt like a mantle heavier than the most ornate of armors. With a deep breath, I nodded, knowing the time had come to face the people who had put their faith in me. Together, we descended the spiraling staircase of the tower, the stones cool beneath my boots, the air alive with the murmurs of anticipation. As we emerged into the square, a cheer erupted, a wave of sound that seemed to shake the very foundations of the city. Eldrin, Eldrin, they chanted, and I raised my hand in greeting, a gesture that hushed the crowd into a reverent silence. My friends, I began, my voice carrying across the sea of upturned faces. Today, we stand at the threshold of tomorrow. We have weathered the storm, faced the darkness, and emerged into the light of a new day. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd, a shared understanding of the journey we had all undertaken. We owe our peace to many, I continued, to the guardians of the Enchanted Forest, to the steadfastness of the Archmage, and to the bravery of one who stood beside me when the shadows were at their darkest. A pang of sorrow lanced through me at the mention of my friend, their sacrifice, the ember that ignited the flame of victory. We will build a world of harmony, a place where magic serves as a bridge rather than a barrier, a world where the lessons of our trials become the foundations of our future. I paused, letting my words settle over the crowd like the first gentle rays of sunlight. I pledge to you, as your elder sage, that I will guide us into this era with all the wisdom and care that resides within me. The square burst into applause, a chorus of hope and joy that echoed off the walls of the city. I looked out over the people, their faces alight with the promise of days to come, and in that moment, I knew that together we could indeed build the world of which I spoke. The road ahead would be long and fraught with challenges anew, but as the dawn of the Elder Sage rose, so too did the spirit of the realm, united and indomitable. Chapter 8, Legacy of Light. The great hall of the Seekers was abuzz with a new kind of magic this morning, the walls echoing not with spells, but with the voices of those who had sworn to protect Eldoria. I stood at the forefront of the assembly, the morning sun casting long beams through the stained glass windows, bathing the stone interior in a kaleidoscope of colors. Today marks the beginning of our legacy. I addressed the crowd, my voice steady and clear. We are the seekers of truth, bound not by blood, but by the light we vow to guard. Among the gathered, I noticed the bright, eager faces of young wizards and warriors, their eyes filled with the fire of purpose. They were a tapestry of Eldoria's future, woven from the threads of every corner of our realm. One young wizard, a girl with hair the color of autumn leaves, stepped forward. "Eldrin," she began, her voice tinged with the accent of the southern provinces, "we've learned of your deeds, how you faced the darkness and triumphed. But whispers of a shadow that remains reach even the farthest villages. What shall we do if the society rears its head once more?" I met her gaze, seeing in her the reflection of my own once doubtful self. "We will do as we have always done," I replied. "Stand firm, seek the truth, and let our combined light reveal the path forward." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the hall, a shared commitment resonating in the air. A seasoned warrior, his armor etched with the scars of battle, leaned on his greatsword. "I've fought many battles," he said, his voice a deep rumble like the distant mountains, "but this feels like a new chapter. How will we honor those who fell before us, those who can't stand with us today?" The question hung heavy, a poignant reminder of the friend whose sacrifice had made this day possible. "We honor them by living the ideals they died for," I answered, my heart heavy yet hopeful. "We remember them not as fallen, but as beacons that guide us through the darkest nights." Nods and solemn expressions of respect followed my words, each person in the room carrying the memory of someone lost, someone cherished. "We gather today not just in remembrance, but in anticipation," I continued, gesturing to the banners that adorned the hall, each one representing a principle of our new order. "We train, we learn, and we reach out into the shadows not with fear, but with the staunchness to bring forth light. We are the legacy they left behind, and we shall be the guardians of tomorrow." The inaugural gathering of the Seekers of Truth ended with a vow, a solemn oath spoken in unison, voices melding into a promise that would echo through the ages. As peace reigned over Eldoria, we knew that challenges awaited, that the whispers of a surviving foe were but the prelude to future strife. But we stood ready, a united front against whatever darkness may come, our legacy one of light, our mission one of hope. And so, with the hall's doors thrown open to the world beyond, we stepped forward, the seekers of truth, custodians of a realm reborn from the ashes of betrayal, ever watchful, ever vigilant. This story concludes here. It's been an honor to have you with us for the enchanted edge of betrayal. StoryWave.ai has the unique gift of turning your prompts into engrossing tales. Please leave a like, share with your circle, and subscribe to our channel for a new story every day. March 2024, until our paths cross again.